Okay guys, so this is the first of the three unspoken real meanings of what customers mean when they say you're too expensive. And that is, I really just don't like you or trust you. Now, mostly they're not going to come out and say that to your face, okay? Can happen, but it's very rare. And what is more likely to occur is that they will use one of the other reasons we mentioned before as a cover-up, okay, to the real meaning, which is, look, I just don't like or trust you. So clearly your access to this is building relationship and credibility. Before I get onto that though, how do you know, how can you distinguish whether this is the actual meaning? Couple of points. First and foremost, the customers may be standoffish. So they may actually like your product or service. You might get that sense that they're really into the product, really into your particular business maybe even, but maybe standoffish with you as a person. All right, so that's one key indicator. If you're not finding that connection, and we generally know in a sales process if we've formed that connection. All right, and the second point is that the sales process may be a little bit shorter. So they've gotten the information that they require, they're leading the sales process as opposed to you leading the sales process, and once they've gotten that information, they want to wrap it up and they want to get out of there. Okay, and if you've sold anything for any period of time, chances are you've experienced it when somebody's got the information they require and they want to leave. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean they hate you, just means that you haven't built a strong enough relationship with them and you haven't really established trust just yet. Okay, so that's the two ways to be able to distinguish. And so again, it was the sales process being slightly shorter and them being standoffish. So, a couple of key points to build some weight with your relationship. First and foremost is your backpacker principle. All right, your backpacker principle, if you can, for those that have been backpacking will relate to this story, or even just traveling around the world. You're in an English pub or somewhere in a pub in Europe somewhere, you hear an Australian talking in the background, you get to chatting and you find out somewhere along the line that her sister or his sister went to your friend's sister's school, and there's some form of connection all the way across the world. All of a sudden your best mates, you're drinking and travelling to the next country together. Happens all the time. That backpacker connection in a sales situation is your ability to be able to find common ground, to find that connection. And once you've found that connection, you found that common ground, you're not necessarily drinking with them and traveling around the world, but you've got that strong level of relationship. Okay? And then we've got credibility. So looking at product mastery, knowing your product inside and out, going to work on, because these days, guys, people will know your product and service better than you do with the use of technology. Someone can sit on an iPad for all of 30 minutes, find out everything that ever there is to find out about your product or service, and come and regurgitate it back to you. So if you're not on the ball and you're not developing product mastery, there is a good possibility that your credibility will lose some weight in that sales process, especially if they're a detailed or analytical sort of person. Okay? And the second access to building that credibility is your sales professionalism. How do you dress? How do you present yourself? How do you talk? Are you speaking their language? Are you speaking jargon, or are you communicating to them? All right, developing those key attributes of sales professionalism. All right, so just to recap, I really just don't like or trust you. It may not be spoken. Key points are you're looking for a shorter sales process, or a customer that wants to get out of the sales process sooner rather than later. And there's the your access to that is building relationship and strengthening and establishing credibility.